tell us what you feed the birds?
Mainly, they get plain old laying pellets, and of course this time of the year there'll be some of them on the outside.
So, but okay,
And
I'm going to interrupt you for a second. But like your tragopans, you're feeding supplements to. What else like? What are these fireback pheasants and stuff?
okay, well, everything has laying pellets in front of them all the time. Then in the morning, we come by with a handful. Each pen gets a handful of hen scratch mixed with that small chunk dog food.
And there's some wheat in that scratch too, huh?
Thrown in there. And then the tragopans, some of the better birds, they get chopped fruit.
So we're
about
we're
every
selecting which bush is better and which isn't.
Well, the ones that cost like $300 or $400 and $500 a pair, they get better stuff. Because fruit gets to be expensive, and then it takes a while to chop it up and all like that. But we try to give them, and then sometimes just buy a watermelon or two and slice it up. But it takes 2 watermelons just to even do the good birds.
But that's more stuff like watermelon is not really for nutrients. It's for just enrichment, just for something for them to do, isn't it?
It's not bad for. I mean, it's good for them. It don't have all that a mixed fruit would do.
Right.
But it gives them something to do. I mean, it's
that's what I'm saying. It just kind of gives them enrichment, so they're not bored. They're playing with rinds and.
But every once in a while, you'll have some of them that won't even eat watermelon, or one pear, and then the next one. We got some Java greens that will not eat peanuts or fruit or nothing except laying pellets and dog food. I've never seen peafowl that wouldn't eat
everything.
Everything.
Worms? They eat worms?
Well, we ain't giving them. We haven't given them any worms.
But
a lot of people worry about earthworms.
No.
You ought to see the earthworms and these peanuts.
So do you get gapeworm ever in the pheasants?
No. Knock on wood. Now we do have to worm pretty often. We don't worm as often as we want to. Should. But we try to worm.
So this is actually one of the things where, like raising waterfowl, I don't worry about worming waterfowl because waterfowl very seldom have pathogenic levels of worms in them. Even if they have a little bit of worms, it's nothing that does any, they're like, they just commensalistic relationship with the bird. They just have a little bit of benefit, benefits of worms. It does the waterfowl. Just there's very few instances that waterfowl are. And obviously, there's some regions in the world that are, they're more apt to have a pathologic outbreak, pathogenic outbreak, of worms or whatever. But same thing with lice and mites. Waterfowl don't typically get pathogenic levels of lice and mites.
And here's another thing. We hardly ever have any lice here.
24% protein.
But see, it don't have soy. The main deal. Pork meal, ground wheat grain.
So my question is though, are they using
chicken fat, chicken fat?
That's what I was going to say. Is a lot of times they use chicken fat for the fat, but then for the protein, which that might be for protein.
Well, then you have the chicken byproduct meal.
That actually might be something to use.
But see, I was trying to find a dog food that was, it's small enough where most of the birds will eat it.
Yep.
I mean, That was my other problem, is finding a non-soy dog food
Right.
that was small enough.
So here's the other thing is like we feed like I'm not speaking for pheasant, but for waterfowl, we shoot for 16, 17, 18% protein for the waterfowl, 18% tops. For pretty much maintenance and breeding. But that's based on a soy protein diet. If you had animal protein, like fish you were using for protein, it's a higher quality protein, so you can actually drop down to an 8% protein on them. So,
do you remember when the laying pellets and all like that, protein was fish?
yeah, yep.
I mean, when you opened a bag of feed,
It stunk, yeah. Yep. But yeah, so I mean, I don't have anything against the soy because that's brought stuff like your lorries and stuff. You'd never be able to make a good formulation for some of this feed, some of these birds without the soy. But I think where we can, if we can get animal protein back into our diets on the birds, we might be able to have some improvement in the overall quality of the birds.
Okay, our new pair of scintillating are over here. We walked by and then he dumped his feed bowl up. We just had them in not too long ago. And anytime we get new birds in, we never know for sure what they're drinking out of, so we put different types of water containers in there, different types of feed. Now see, we were talking about lineated. This is Crawford here, and you see there's not too much difference except the female.
Yeah.
But their leg colors is not proper for Crawfords. There's a little bit of pink tint to it, but you have to look real close to see it.
Mm-hmm. Now they get nasty like the other.
No, I've never had any of them that wanted to kill me. Now I've got a new Argus in that's going to be a man killer.
Yeah.
He's in with the female that has one leg.
These things kind of remind, I don't know why they remind me of like Coatsins.
Now that's a good pair of Horsfield Colleen. You can tell the crest are straight up, and then the female has a nice brown top tail feather.
Yep.
That mane. That's a sign of good quality.
I had them for a short time. They didn't do too good in the New York winters.
Well, nothing would do good in I couldn't live in a New York winter. No. One of zero, and I don't want to see zero the rest of my life.
I thought you got rid of all these.
The chachalaca?
Yeah.
No, and no. That parrot's on one side.
Now these things remind me of like a big phoebe. The little phoebe birds that just like wag their tails all the time. These things sit here and like wag their tails, and
I love when they're all hollering. They can make a racket.
is there any wild? There's wild ones down in Texas, isn't there?
Yeah.
Is there any wild ones here?
No. And I need somebody. Used to, in the old days when there was so many people and pheasants and waterfowl in Texas, you could get chachalacas like crazy. Now there's no breeders in Texas anymore. Thanks to the emu craze back in the 90s.
So if these things got out on you, would they like stick around, or would they just be gone?
I've accidentally let some of them out from time to time, and they'll stay around and we catch them back up.
They look like a guan. Are they related to guans?
Yeah.
It's a strange bird.
Yeah, he got his new blinders in. They work much better.